Good evening, everybody. Would you all please stand and we'll say the flag salute? Oops. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will officially call the meeting to order. May I have a motion for the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain. I wasn't here.
So we'll go to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the agenda and consent agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and to section D. Anna, if you have some recognitions.
Great, thank you, Sally. So I'd like to begin tonight with the high school. Principal Corneo would like to recognize the high school assistant principal, Mr. Ray Vasquez, for all the support he has given our students and staff during the school year. He's always available to listen and guide students. And then at Rincon, Principal Gloger would like to recognize the Carpinteria Arts Center, its staff, artists, and volunteers for offering educational, inspiring, and inclusive classes like hip-hop and portrait photography to the Rincon students this spring through the Teen Arts Mentor Program. And then on behalf of the middle school, Principal O'Shea would like to recognize Counselor Megan Kruk for supporting students and staff throughout the year and facilitating this year's awards assembly. On behalf of Catalino and Family School, Principal Pursoon would like to recognize Mari Hornback. She's our assessment coordinator, for her stellar support of teachers in delivering the state testing and supporting the grade level chairs in setting up assessments in the Illuminate system. Mari's incredibly skilled and talented, and she's really a behind-the-scenes magician for all things testing, data, and information systems in our district. And then lastly, for Aliso and Summerlin, Principal Fox would like to recognize all the teachers and staff at Aliso and Summerlin for another outstanding year. Each person brings their own unique qualities that, when combined together, make for exceptional learning environments at both campuses. Everyone gives of themselves to help students learn and experience new things, and they provide the time and attention that makes each student feel valued and appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you'd like to give your superintendent's report.
Great, thanks. So I'd like to continue with the recognition and appreciation. I would like to recognize and thank the leadership team, the district office, the special education office, transportation, food services, maintenance, grounds, and all the teachers and staff at each school site for their hard work this past school year. Happy summer. And then I'd also like to congratulate the 141 Carpinteria High School graduates, 13 Rincon, and 4 Foothill graduates for reaching the significant milestone in their educational career, and we look forward to their achievements in college and beyond. And then regarding the Senior Awards Assembly, more than 60 seniors were recognized for high academic achievement at the Senior Awards Assembly this week. Seniors also received more than $400,000 in scholarships for the SBCC Promise Program and $200,000 scholarships for the college and universities. While the majority of the CHS students will attend Santa Barbara City College, many other students will attend the UCs and Cal State universities, and we also have students attending private colleges and other public universities in other states. I have some great news regarding AHA, the Attitude Harmony Achievement Group. They have received funding to support district-wide social-emotional learning training for all of Carpinteria Unified staff for the next 3 years at no cost to our district. AHA will provide highly trained social-emotional learning trainers who meet monthly with small groups of educators and staff at each of our school sites. By year 3, AHA will train CUSD social emotional learning trainers to support all the new employees in the following years. This training, which is free, is in addition to the annual services that AHA provides with the social emotional learning classes at the high school, at Rincon, and at the middle school. Also providing support for the Carpenter High School after-school program and 2 parent education nights for us. So we're very grateful for that support from AHA. I also have some good news. UCSB will provide a DCAC, Destination College Advising Corps Advisor Fellow, 30 hours weekly at the high school this fall to provide college assistance to our high school students. So this DCAC counselor is replacing our EAOP college counselor who left mid-year this year. So isn't that exciting? So those services will once again be provided to our students at the most important time in the fall. And then I have exciting news about our elementary gate program. You know that Teresa Kuntz is our elementary gate coordinator, and she's worked this past year with 68 students in grades 3 through 5, and their weekly lessons incorporated STEAM projects. And recently, the students completed research on the impacts that plastic waste has on our ocean life and beaches. Students worked in collaborative teams to design and create prototypes for an ocean cleanup device. Very creative. Now, this summer, Teresa's going to attend Project Lead the Way training, and she will learn about the robotics and automation units in which she's going to pilot this coming fall with her elementary students who are going to be challenged to design, model, and test a model robot that can remove hazardous materials from a disaster site. And the Project Lead the Way pilot is being supported by Chevron funding. So it's very exciting. In addition, I'm proud to announce that our FFA students and their teachers, Mr. Gomez and Mr. Lopez, hosted the Aliso and Catalino TK and K students at the school farm this past 2 weeks to visit the farm animals. So Polly the duck and the bunnies were favorites among the young students. And then I have great news. The Educational Results Partnership and Campaign for Business and Education Excellence 2018-19 Honor Roll. This honor roll recognizes schools that have demonstrated consistent improvement in achievement levels over time and a reduction in achievement gaps among student populations. And this year, the California Honor Roll recognized 1,831 schools, which included in our district, Aliso and Carpinteria Family School. So congratulations. Regarding staffing, so we're pleased that we've hired most of our certificated staffing. We still have openings, including a grade 5 teacher at Aliso, a 0.5 FTE district nurse, and assistant principal at the middle school. Classified openings include special ed instructional assistants, office staff, cafeteria assistants, and a maintenance worker. Regarding enrollment, so we have, as of June this month, we're projecting 2,192 students, which is about 11 students more than this current school year. And we've attached the enrollment breakdown so you can see where the increases are. There will be some, we'll have some classes that are multi-grade because of the numbers, but we are hoping to keep small class sizes TK through grade 2. And the last is Measure U. So first of all, I wanted to make sure that you all saw the wonderful Measure U update. They did a great job with their new pamphlet identifying all the progress they've made and as well as what the summer projects might look like. And our first phase of modernization of existing classrooms at Aliso, Catalino, and the high school will begin right away on June 17th. We're closing the campuses from June 14th to August 19th. Because we have a tight construction schedule which will modernize classrooms in the C, D, and G wings of the high school, the C and D wings at Catalino, and 4 primary classrooms at Aliso. That means there'll be new flooring, ceilings, heating systems, fans, window shades, lighting, communication systems, technology, paint, and furniture that will replace the worn and outdated classrooms. We especially appreciate the flexibility of all the teachers and the staff because they're packing up their boxes right now. They're packing up all their classroom and moving boxes to storage because the construction crews will be on their campuses the day after school closes. So we really appreciate their flexibility. The most exciting news is these campuses will be transformed when we all return in August. So we're looking forward to that.
I have a comment, Diana.
Sure.
Yeah, I just would like to add that UCSB offers what is called the UCSB Chancellor's Award Scholarship, which applies to seniors with at least a 3.7 GPA. That's 2,000. And I just would like the seniors to know about this. My daughter is getting it, so it's true.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Is there any, oh, sorry. Is there any public comment? Where did I lost my place? And there's no student representative either. Okay, next. Let me go on to other side. The LCAP annual update and the LCAP goals.
Thank you. Great, because you might have a question. Okay, so every year we develop our yearly goals. We also develop the local control accountability plan that indicates how we will use the district resources to support our overall goal of increasing student achievement. I will be presenting the information tonight, and then we'll hold a public hearing regarding the LCAP. So in order for us to develop the LCAP, we've worked with all our stakeholder groups. We worked with the leadership team. The leadership team worked at their school site with their school site councils and their various parent groups. In addition, we worked with the union leadership and the district parent advisory committee. And we share our proposed drafts. We solicit and seek feedback and input and make those revisions. And so tonight we're presenting our draft for the 2019-20 LCAP. We'll begin by reviewing some of the goals from this current year. And as you know, we don't have our student achievement data that will be presented in September, but we can go over that. So if we can move to the second page, I just want to remind you what the LCAP is comprised of. It was state mandated in 2014. And as I indicated, we need to align our resources to our school priorities to support student learning. It is a 3-year plan, so we're in the third year, and you revise it every year. So next year we'll have a new plan. So what you will see is that we have the goals that we developed 3 years ago, and we continue to revise them based on the data that we collect for that particular year. It must reflect how we're allocating our resources. And the state has identified 8 priorities that we have to address. And you'll recall that at each school site, the site team, the principal with their leadership teams develop their single plan for student achievement, which is directly related to our LCAP to the overall district goals. And we also have a focus on the disaggregated student groups who traditionally do not display significant achievement, and that's economically disadvantaged, English learners, foster youth, as well as special ed students. The 8 state priorities are student achievement, other student outcomes like social emotional strength, access to all of our courses, implementation of the state standards in the curriculum, parent involvement, student engagement, school climate, and just the basic priorities. Our demographics have not changed significantly over the years. However, we do have less students this year than we did last year. The next area is student achievement, and those results will be available in September 2019. So we can move on to student engagement results. We do have those results because our students and our parents and our staff responded to the 2018-19 California Healthy Kids Survey, which gives us a pretty good reflection on how students respond to key indicators. And what we're really interested in is how students feel that they're connected to adults at school, how they respond to being motivated in their classrooms. Do they feel that the adults at school care for them? Do they feel safe at school? And is school clean and neat? And you'll see that when you look at our results, that they're similar year after year. If you look at the different grade results, what is concerning is middle school, because they have the lowest number of students supporting, feeling connected, or feeling motivated, or feeling safe at school. All of these, what we're expecting is 90% or higher. That's what we expect. And so we see that in 11th grade, we're doing pretty well, except for academic motivation. If you look at that one category across all age groups, it's very concerning. So, and that really relates to student engagement as well, and that directly is related to the instruction that's going on in the classroom. So that's something that we're well aware of, and the school sites also look at this data and make recommendations as how they can improve the instruction so students are more engaged, so they feel more motivated with the academic content. The other issue that is unacceptable is that school is usually clean and tidy. So we've changed the supervision model, in which now our principals are supervising the custodians, and they need to provide direct feedback. I think also this might be related to, it's a construction site, so I'm hoping that that's part of the reason why they don't feel that it's tidy, is because there is construction, and maybe with the new modernization and less outdated materials or furnishings, that they'll feel that it's more clean and tidy. But we collect this data every year, so it's good to reflect on that. Other indicators is parent engagement, and again, they're pretty similar year after year. What surprised us was this school is a safe place for students, and so that is surprising. We can't help but think, we've had many discussions at leadership team and at the school sites, is the greater world context or national context affecting that response as opposed to the safety in Carpinteria? But that's something that we have to continue to dig deeper and find out, because that should be 90% or higher. Again, this is somewhat related to student engagement. If you see school provides opportunities for meaningful student participation, that's not acceptable either. That's in 77%. Now, what's interesting is that school has clean and well-maintained facilities and properties. The parents, that's a much higher response than the students. So maybe that's the Gen 7 classrooms, but yeah. We'll be curious about the results. It's really good to look at a 3-year trend. So let's move on to the district goals. So our first goal was increase student learning with high-quality standards-based instruction that's differentiated for every student. And this is a goal that will continue for the 1920. And what we specifically are working towards is that we expect that more than 60% of our students at the exit grades 5, 8, and 11, will achieve grade-level proficiency in English language arts. Now, those results we won't have in September. Our former data indicated that we were pretty close in 5th grade, but not in 8th and 11th. So we're expecting that when we receive the data in September, that we'll be much closer to the 60% for those exit grade levels. And then in math, math is always somewhat lower, is that we're expecting more than 50% of the students in the exit grades 5, 8, and 11 will achieve grade level proficiency. And again, for the exit grades, the previous year was less than 50%. It was in 40%. And we expect that to be higher in September when we have our results in end of August, early September. Now, we do have this result, which is exciting. More than 20% of English learners will be redesignated as fluent English proficient by grade 8. And I'm happy to report that we met that goal and exceeded it, 37%. But we'd like to see that much higher, to over 50%. And then we have a goal that more than 80% of English learners will score moderately developed or well-developed levels in the LPAC. And again, that data will be available in September. And right now, last year, the data was 69%. So for the 1920 LPAC, this goal will remain, and these outcomes will remain unless the data indicates differently. But we're thinking that we'll be close to the 60 and 50, but we won't be exceeding it to necessarily change it. So we're still working towards that. And then the next 2 pages indicates the actions and services that we're providing at the district level. And you can take a minute and read it and see if you have any questions about it. So essentially, these actions and services are focused on monitoring student progress, especially for those students who are in those disaggregated groups, the progress of special ed students, foster youth, economically disadvantaged, and early and English learners. We have now purchased a software program, Illuminate, that will make it a lot more efficient and easier for teachers and grade level teams to monitor that progress. And then at our collaborative meetings, in which we have release time provided for, we will review that progress, determine which groups of students need intervention, and then we'll be providing small group intervention at K-8 in both reading, writing, and math. And we'll do that during the school day and also in our after-school programs. And then in the next slide, we have specifically what the elementary teachers will be doing differently to make sure that all students meet the grade level standards, as well as those disaggregated groups of students meeting the standards. And in it, we include our DLI program at Catalino, the Spanish literacy program at Aliso, and the additional small group reading intervention programs. At the secondary level, there is a particular focus at the high school for math instruction, and there'll be professional development with the high school teachers, with the actually it's the Santa Barbara County Office math project leaders. They're also going to be piloting a new science curriculum both at the middle school and high school. And then at the middle school, particularly around special education, there will be professional development and collaboration with regular ed and special ed teachers to improve reading, writing, and math instruction for special ed students. The second goal revolves around making sure that all students have high student engagement in learning and that they participate in a positive school culture, as well as making sure that we develop partnerships with parents, that we have high parent involvement. So one of our first outcomes is that, again, we wanted more than 90% of our students report a high level of school connectedness, academic motivation, high expectations, and meaningful participation. And what's most concerning to us is the academic motivation and meaningful participation. So you'll notice in all age groups that is somewhat depressed response. That's not acceptable. And what that really indicates is that we need to take a very good look, a deeper dive into the type of instruction that we're offering in the classrooms for academics and how we can change the instruction to increase the student engagement. So at secondary level, that means that students would have more voice in choosing the way that they're going to demonstrate that they've mastered a particular skill, giving more choice for how they're going to demonstrate their mastery. Or it might be giving elementary students more choice in how they're going to receive input or direct instruction on a particular skill or content area. So that is the work that we will be focusing on through our professional development, is looking at classroom instruction and student engagement.
That's a whole teacher shift from teacher direction to facilitation and letting students take the lead. That's a big,
Yes.
big shift.
So it will start small.
Yeah.
We think that by having more access to digital tools at the secondary level, at the high school, that will increase the student engagement because they'll be able to demonstrate their mastery through a variety of multimedia projects, which they're interested in. Excuse me. That's mine. Sorry. The second goal was all students actively engage in learning and participate. Oh, sorry. That is the second goal. Yeah. The second outcome was more than 95% of students, staff, and parents will report that our schools are safe and respectful. And we're pretty close to the 95% for students, but for staff and parents, we need to work on that. And again, I'm surprised about the safety response because I did expect that to be higher. So we'll need to find that, work with parents and find out what the responses are. Because when we actually engage parents in the question, when we're working with them in our groups, both in our school site councils and our parent advisory groups, they report that they feel that the schools are very safe. So this doesn't reflect the feedback that we get informally.
Do we have a breakdown of school?
Yes, we do.
We know which ones are.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. And so each school site is working on that is working on that data for their school sites. So then another goal, another expected annual measurable outcome is revolved around student attendance and truancy and dropout and suspension rates. So again, this data won't be available to the end of August or early September. What we expect is we expect average daily attendance to be 95%. So in the 17-18 year, it did meet that goal, and we're hoping that that is maintained. Or we're not hoping, we're expecting. Chronic absenteeism, it was 8%, and our goal is to be less than 5%. Truancy rates were 19.6%, and our expectation is less than 5%. Dropout rate, 1.9%, and we expect it to be 0. Just like we expect the expulsion rate to be 0, and suspension rate will be less than 1%, and it was 4.1% previous years. So those are high outcomes, aspirational outcomes, but I think we can, over 1 or 2, 3 years, that we can achieve that.
And that kind of goes hand in hand with the students feeling engaged.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. At the elementary level, it's really working with the parents about absenteeism. And at the middle school and high school levels, it's with the students. And then in terms of suspension expulsion, it's about the work that we're doing around positive behavior intervention strategies and restorative practices. And so you'll see that those are, when we get to our actions and services, you'll see that that's what we're implementing. But our next outcome is increased parent participation to at least 60% at every school site for parent conferences, back to school night, and open house events. And I'm pleased to report that our parent participation is very high. 85% of the parents report they've attended a school or class event. 60% report they volunteered. 93% indicated they've attended a general school meeting. And 98% of our elementary parents attend their conferences. So this is very great. This is very good news. High parent involvement. So our planned actions and services, you'll see, again, it revolves around monitoring those attendance rates and implementing intervention for those students who are struggling to attend school, and working really close with the parents at the elementary level to make sure students are attending every day. And this also includes working with the mental health teams at every school site who are monitoring student attendance as well as student behavior. And that's identifying what the student needs are and developing plans to support students. So our next goal is all students will graduate from high school, college, and career ready. We have several measurable outcomes. We expect 100% of our seniors will graduate from high school. So the previous year, 94.4% graduated, and we still have some that are working on it tonight. So we don't have the final percentage for Thursday. AG readiness will be 50% or higher, and the previous year was 42.1%. We're getting pretty close. AP honors and course enrollment will be 50% or higher. We're at 47%. The CTE course enrollment will be 50% or higher. We're at 46%. And then students demonstrating college preparedness will be 75% or higher. That is an aspirational goal. And right now we're at 57.3%. And that data will be available in September. We'll report it. So again, we're identifying our actions and services that will increase our ability to reach those outcomes for students. And we are adding a engineering pathway to extend the CTE coursework. And then the last goal is directly related to facilities. They'll be updated, which Measure U is certainly making sure that happens, and well maintained for all students and staff. And as I indicated earlier, that the response rate needs to be much higher, and that we're working with the principals at each school site to ensure that the schools meet our cleanliness standards. I think part of the updating is also increasing the technology tools, and so we are implementing all the teacher tech tools with the Measure U. So that gives you a general overview of the 4 major goals and our actions and services that are planned for the next school year.
Thank you.
The board is required by state law to hold a public hearing on the proposed local control accountability plan, and I will now open that meeting. Any questions, comments from the Will's asleep? Okay, then I'll close that meeting. And you're going to present the adopted budget or proposed adopted budget. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge and recognize Monica Thomas, Lisa Main, and Nancy Morales in the district office because they did a great job substituting for Maureen Fitzgerald, who is doing well in her recuperation, and we'll see her at the end of June. But thanks again to these 3 for really helping me make sure that we had our presentation available tonight. So thank you. Thank you, Monica, Lisa, and Nancy. Okay, so we're going to begin on slide 2 with the CUSD mission. And I will emphasize the phrase, we are committed to providing a quality educational program in a caring, positive environment. Our district core values: academic achievement, respectful community, and continuous improvement. And the district goals: increasing student learning, promoting safe and respectful schools, developing budgets to support educational programs while maintaining sustainability, increase efficiency and effectiveness of district operations, and building community support and engagement. And reminding everybody our core budgeting principles, that students and their learning are at the center of decisions. Teaching and learning conditions matter for student success. Our requested resources for programs, services, and activities reflect our 3 core values of academic achievement, respectful community, and continuous improvement. And then I would like to just remind everyone of our board policy 3100, that the board intends to maintain a minimum unassigned fund balance, which includes a reserve for economic uncertainties equal to at least 10% for the current year and 2 subsequent fiscal years. The next slide outlines our budget development process. So you'll recall we began in January. We have discussed the budget at 8 previous board meetings. Tonight is the budget hearing, and
Then on June 25th, we will vote to adopt the budget. So on slide 8, we have identified that if we were an LCFF district receiving funds from the state, the COLA was only 3.26%, but because we are a basic aid district, our property taxes are projected to increase 5.02%. In addition, we are expecting pension rate increases that influence the total statutory benefits. And currently in the governor's budget, there is some relief, but we won't know until the budget's voted on June 15th, so that will change. We're hoping there's relief for the increase for the CalPERS and CalSTRS, but we won't know that until next week. Slide 9 identifies the cost to certain positions in our district, and these are just samples, but I think it's important to point out that our benefits are significant when we are looking at positions. So if you're a classroom aide, a typical salary is $24,000. Your benefits are over $22,000. So the total cost of the district is $46,000. As a teacher, average cost salary could be $75,000. Your benefits are $34,000. So that's close to half of your salary. So that means that position is costing the district $110,128. And our salary ranges range from $45,474 to $93,384. So teaching positions cost us ranging from $73,895 to $129,629. Page 10 has been revised, and we handed out the new revision in that we now know that the actuals for 2017-18 is $21,928,202, which is an 8.18% increase. It does not change the projected for 18-19, 19-20, 20 to 21. We won't have that data until further into this summer. You'll see that our average property tax increase is expected around the 5%. So pages 11 and 12 reflect our FTE summary. So on page 11, that's our current unrestricted general fund, FTE, for staffing, 96.83, and that is the breakdown. But let's take a minute and review page 12, because page 12 reflects the new staffing proposal in our proposed budget that indicates the reductions that we took over $803,000. I'm pleased to report that due to attrition, when we did our bumping and seniority meetings, that at the end of the day, everyone was still employed, albeit with some reduced hours, except for one custodian that was laid off. So with all the reductions that we've taken, and we'll go over them, at the end of the day, only one employee was laid off. Everyone else still will continue in employment in our district, and some have chosen to take other positions that are open that have more hours. So for teachers, we use an attrition, and we reduced it 1.22 FTE. For instructional assistants, we reduced to 0.94, and that was basically hours, not positions. Library media tech, 1.5, and that was an attrition as well as some hours. 0.32 tech support specialist, those were hours. 0.5 clerical support, again, those are hours. And 1.97 custodian, those are hours, and then that one position that was laid off. The next slide, slide 13 on page 13, reflects our history of COLA. And for the past 5 years, the average has been about 2.3% for certificated and about 2.8% for classified. So we want to keep that in mind when we look at the budget, because our proposed budget does not include the negotiated COLA for 1920. Slide 14 gives you a history for the last 9 years of the health and welfare increases. as well as on slide 15, the history of pension increases. We include that so you can see the demands on developing the district budget. Whereas we negotiate health and welfare increases, the pension increases, those are handed down by the state. So on slide 16, it's really important to take a look at our unrestricted general fund, our 5-year financial history. So currently, we're receiving a revenue of $21.3 million, but our expenses are $21.4 million. So again, if you expend more than you have, you are deficit spending. The good news is we've reduced the deficit. It's now $69,000, but in the previous 2 years, it was $500,000. And then in 2014-15, it was close to $1 million deficit spending. I share slide 17 with you, which is the financial history of 5 years of the total general fund, again to indicate that our revenue is less than our expenditures, but also to point out that for the last 5 years, we've been able to manage a reserve of 8.8%, close to the 10%. Slide 18 is really important to illustrate the demands on our budget in terms of special education. So our revenue for special education, that's funding from the state and federal government, is $1.5 million. Our expenditures is $5.4 million. What that means is that we have to contribute from the general fund $3.8 million. So 71% of special ed expenditures come from local revenue, not state and not federal revenue. And in the last 5 years, that has increased over 68%. Now you remember that our revenue has not increased 68%. And then on slide 19, that just gives you a comparison of basic aid districts in Santa Barbara County. I share slide 20 because it also illustrates the average reserves in a unified school district, an elementary school district, and a high school district. What's most important, though, is the indication that the Governmental Finance Officers Association recommends that you have at least 2 months of payroll amount of reserves for local governments, which is the 17% minimum, which they're suggesting. Again, our board policy suggests 10%. The Government Finance Office Association is suggesting 17%. And you'll see that unified school districts, their average is close to 17%. So the next three slides, slide 21, 22, and 23, provide a really good visual of where our revenue is. It's mostly in property tax, not in state or federal revenue. It's all local property tax on 21. And then where our expenses are. And our expenses are salary and benefits, 85%. And it's spent on, as you can see in slide 23, on classroom instruction. Everything that's associated with students. Classroom instruction, counseling, support services, special ed, not special ed, support services. All the services that support students in the classroom. Now let's turn to page 25, slide 25, because I'd like to go through this line for line. So our goal is a positive certification for our budget for 1920, 2021, 21-22, and have a sustainable budget, which is having reserves as close as we can to that 10%. So our 18-19 unrestricted budget revenues at estimated actuals is $21,341,734. Property tax increase, $1,117,930. We also had a slight increase for the education protection amount, $13,087, and then also an increase for the revenue, $8,220. Now, we had takeaways. We had a change to the state revenue in lottery and the mandated block grant because we have less student enrollment. So now that takes away the revenue of $31,050. We also had one-time money last year that we won't have in 1920, so that also is subtracted from the revenue, and that's $384,411. And then for local revenue, we had a one-time Thomas file claim, which we won't have next year, so that decreases the revenue $301,264. We also had a one-time workers' comp rebate, which will not occur again. So we have to take away $128,856,000. We also have less rent at Baylor at $43,978. And we have to increase our contribution to special ed at $232,748. So with that, with those decreases to the revenue, our projected 2019-20 unrestricted revenue is $21,331,950, which is actually $9,784 less than the revenue we received this current school year. So our expenses are increasing significantly, but our revenue actually went down. So let's look at our budget drivers. So these are the changes over this school year. What are our increases? And by budget drivers, these are increases that we have no control over. These are increases that are passed on to us. So first, in our collective bargaining, we have step and column increases. That's $191,625. We have health and welfare increases, which is $79,057. And we have the pension increases. Now, we're hoping that these will change to our benefit, but right now it's $55,411 for CalSTRS and $128,976 for CalPERS. We also are estimating a 5.0% utilities increase at $35,266. And our property and liability has increased over 25% due to the disasters, and that's $57,002. So our budget drivers, without adding any requested increases, are $500,000, $547,000, $337, against a revenue that has decreased. And this does not include a COLA for our collective bargaining unit, which is approximately $191,004.
Did you say earlier that the average was 2% for COLA?
Yes,
So, okay.
it has been in the past 5
The
years.
past.
Yes. Okay, so then we look at our budget assessments for 1920. So we're on slide 27. So our budget expenditure actuals estimated are $21,922,068. We have unrestricted budget drivers at $547,337. Now the good news is we've had some savings in what we call control adjustments, meaning we have some retirement savings in that we've hired new staff that are at the lower step than the staff they're replacing. And then we also are not going to need some substitutes for long-term medical leave, so that's savings. So we think that we can save $258,875. And then we did our budget reductions of $809,132. So we are proposing expenditures at $21,401,398. And again, on slide 28, those were the budget reductions that we've included. And I will just emphasize that the good news is that with all the staff involved, that there was reduction of hours. However, at the end of the day, only one staff member received the layoff notice of non-employment in the district. So page 29 reflects the unrestricted fund in that we are projecting a revenue of $21,331,950. We're projecting expenditures at $21,401,398. So we're reducing the budget deficit to $69,448 with an ending balance of $1,869,074 and a projected reserve of 6.27%, which we believe still has room for a negotiated COLA on the low end, but still has some room. Now, when we look at slide 30, this is both the unrestricted and restricted, so it's the total general fund. It says excluding Fund 07. 07 is the TRAN that we take, that we voted on, that we use to help bridge any costs if we aren't able to meet a payroll. So this is our recommended 1920 general fund budget, in which unrestricted revenues is $25.9 million, restricted revenues $3.7 million. So our total general fund is $29,727,945. Our unrestricted expenditure $21.4 million, restricted expenditure $8.2 million, and so our total general fund expenditure is $29,697,188. We have to transfer out our maintenance account. Our deficit spending would be $69,243. Our ending balance would be $2.6 million. And that would be the recommended budget that we're asking you to adopt. And if you look on slide 31, that compares the estimated actuals of this year with the preliminary budget for next year. And you'll see that you'll see that we're getting less revenue, but we're decreasing our expenditures from this year, as well as we're decreasing the deficit spending. And then the last slide, on slide 32, that reflects what our estimated actuals are at this time for this school year. It includes the recommended adopted budget for 1920 with a 6.27% reserve. Revenues $29.7 million, expenditures $29.6. With year 2021, $30.9 million revenue, $30.2 expenditures, with non-deficit spending of $500,000, and the reserves increased to 7.9%. And then the projected budget for 21-22, $32.1 million revenue, 30.8 expenditures, and again, not deficit spending, and 11.6. Again, I remind you that does not have COLAs in it, though, however. But that does meet the requirement of 3% or higher for the county.
The board is required by state law to hold a public hearing on the proposed 2019-2020 budget. I will open that meeting. Hearing from no one, any questions? I will close that meeting. Okay. Board policies. Are you going to go over the?
Could you ask if there are any questions?
Yes, are there any questions from the board?
I was asking as we went along.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll move on to E1, the board policy and administrative regulation. The board is asked to approve the second reading of BP and AR 5113.1, chronic absence and truancy. Can I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Are there any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The board is asked to approve the second reading of BP and AR 5125 student records. Is there a motion on that?
I'll move to approve.
Second?
Second?
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Business warrants, found that. There's nothing under educational services, so we go to business and operation facilities. The warrants, the board is asked to approve the warrants for the period of 5/24/19 through 6/6/19 in the amount of $565,816.67. Can I have a motion on that?
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The board is asked to accept the donation of $250 from Gill Flooring to CHS ASB Football Club. I have a motion.
I move to approve with gratitude.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The board is asked to accept the donation of $100 from Nergis to CHS Football Club.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to H1, the board is asked to approve change order number 003 for the modular classroom buildings project at Carpinteria Middle School. Change order number 3 is in the amount of $117,009.12, which brings the contract sum to $2,137,323.70, paid with Measure U funding. Can I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? H2, acceptance of completed contract modular classrooms Catalino with Shaw Contracting Incorporated. The board is asked to approve the completed contract at Catalino Elementary School. The completed contract amount is $1,336,905.45, paid with Measure U funds. Have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second, with thrilled that a project is done.
Yes. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The personnel summary, the board is asked to approve the following recommended personnel items. Assignments, 3 certificated personnel, resignations, 3 personnel, and a retirement, 1 classified personnel. I have a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And board communications. Michelle?
So sorry I missed last meeting. I was abroad learning about their education system, which was really fascinating. But for this week, I just wish everyone a really safe and joyous graduation and promotion week. So, thanks.
Rogelio?
Yes. Just give me a second. Okay. Issue number 1 is that we began to study the budget on March of this year, and after 5 months, at that time, the initial proposed budget was 826,000, if I'm not mistaken, but it's pretty close. That was 5 months ago, and looks like we're settled down on 809,000 for the proposed budget. And my question is, actually, the comment that I have is that after 5 months of, we are going back to the original figure. And my thought is that we could have we could have wrapped it up at that meeting instead of going through 8 or 10 meetings of the budget, and from 800,000, 900,000, and million, 100,000, then going backwards, and then we're landing on the initial budget, and that's, to me, we should have stayed with that one if we wanted to, if the district wanted to approve those cuts. Number two, we have had healthy reserves for the past years, and still every year we go through the same layoff process, and that's something that I mean. It's like, for example, today we heard the superintendent say that for the next 3 years we will have a healthy budget, but next year we will have layoffs, and the one after that layoffs, and the one after that layoffs, and that's something that I mean, if we are having a healthy budget for the next 3 years, then why go through the same process again? We can do nothing at all, and everything stays the same. Otherwise, otherwise, why go through all of this? And another issue that I have, and actually it surprised me. This is public, it's not private. This is when I pick up my package. There was this envelope along the package, separate. I thought, well, first of all, it surprised me that. He had my name, board member, Rogelio Delgado, board member, CUSD. I said, well, probably it's something, an invitation to an event or something, but it's not. It is not. It surprised me that actually that I did actually, had I know the content of this message, I wouldn't have never opened it. Never. Well, it's public record. It's not like on a closed session, but the times have changed, and this person, whether a man or a woman, is very upset at the marijuana smell odor in the city. And to me, it looks like a threat. But let's give it the benefit of the doubt. But it says, this because this person actually, it's what he or she is saying is that she's upset, uncomfortable, that only 35 permits have been issued to grow marijuana, and it's all over the city, meaning illegal plantations, and that nothing or not much has been done about getting rid of this strong smell, strong odor, and disgusting. You are now advocates, not educators. Shame on you and your entire board. That's from now on. I will advise you, Diana, Monica, do not include with my package anything like this, because
No, excuse me, Rogelio, it was mailed to you. We don't know what the mail is, so we wouldn't know what it is.
No,
so you don't want your mail?
No, it wasn't mailed.
Yes, it was mailed.
It's got a stamp.
It has a stamp on it. But we didn't open it, so we wouldn't know what it is. We thought it was private to you.
It's even worse. It's even worse, because then it means that whatever.
If you wanted to open your mail, your private mail, when it comes to the district
No, all I want is the pack is the attachments package, and that's it.
So you don't want the public to mail you?
Not when there's no return
No return address?
address.
Okay.
It's to me it's
I don't
it's
think
a
we can legally not give you your
well
mail.
unless you want to be liable for anything that happens.
No, I think you can choose not to I think you can
Well,
choose not to
well,
open it, but
I open it because it was sealed.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take care of it. We understand. We understand.
That's
Yes.
something that
Okay.
caught my attention.
We understand what you need. Thank you.
All right, thank
okay.
you.
Thank you. Jamie.
Oh, also,
Everybody here in the audience, we want to say to you folks, we appreciate all the work you do.
thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to, as we close this year, thank all of the parent groups in Carpinteria's district for all they do for the kids. I know it is an enormous job, and it's sometimes thankless and hard, but it's so appreciated. And I think that kind of goes hand in hand with the school connectedness. I think the more the parents are involved, the more we bring spirit to the schools and different activities, that's great. And I just want to appreciate all the parents groups, and I hope in the fall that more parents will be involved in their schools.
Great, thank you, Jamie. I'd like to commend you and Maureen and Monica and Lisa and Nancy for all the hard work putting together all this budget. It is really quite amazing, and the hours that you must have spent to prepare the budget and to present it to all of us. I thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
It's a lot of time. You did a lot of speaking tonight, and so good job.
Thank you.
I'd also like to commend Lori Pierce at the high school. I was involved in the Partners in Education interviews for the seniors, and tomorrow I will interview the ninth graders for Get Focused, Stay Focused class. And the students at the high school were so well prepared and are so focused on what they want to do and how they're going to get there. It was a very rewarding time to spend with them and just to see how much the high school is doing for students in Carpinteria. I'd also like to commend the Summerlin School parents and children for the wonderful play that they put on last weekend, The Lion King. It was super great. And the Catalino DLI first grade play that was last week as well, which was also quite amazing to see so many first graders speaking 2 languages. It's great. I wish all the seniors well. Thursday there are 6 graduations, a couple tomorrow night, and I commend all those students who are moving on to the next level and wish them well in their schools. Thank you. Any other comments? Board calendar?
Well, we'll see everybody tomorrow. The first promotion is Summerland at 4 o'clock.
A future agenda item is the superintendent's evaluation, which, you want to make a comment on that?
Well, I've sent the materials to the board members.
Yes.
And you'll review, and then you need to send your evaluation to the board president, Andy Schaefer. He will summarize, and then we'll discuss it at the next meeting in our closed session.
So I call for adjournment. Thank you all, and see you again this week.
Nice job. Thank you, Sally.